Hey folks, so I want to talk today about my lemon tree that I've grown from seed. This is a 2.5-year-old seedling that I started from a seed from a lemon that I got in the supermarket. A lot of people have got into this hobby, into growing citrus in the same way. So I just got a seed from a lemon, had no idea what I was doing really. I popped it in some soil one sort of spring. And here it is now, 2.5 years on. So today I want to talk a little bit about what I've learnt along the way, because there's an awful lot to learn with this hobby. Citrus can be tricky, but they're also incredibly rewarding. Even growing from seed where there is no fruit yet, and it may be a lot of years before there is fruit, but still I find it very rewarding. So I want to share a few tips, a few hints, and discuss what I've learnt in my citrus journey so far with this lemon seedling. So my number one tip would be, it's not about what goes on up here so much. A lot of what goes on, a lot of the important stuff goes on in your pot, and that is the root system. And ensuring you have a great healthy root system really will ensure that the rest of the tree is healthy. It sets you well on your way to having a great seedling. So a lot of it is about learning about soil. I'm not going to go into soil too much today. That might be another video where I discuss the various elements of soil, but free draining and lightly acidic are the basics to that. But it does take a lot of tweaking. It takes a lot of getting to know various elements to your soil, what works, what doesn't. So soil, and then watering, understanding exactly what citrus like in terms of watering. That with getting the right pot and fertilising well will ensure a good root system, lots of fibrous roots which take the water and nutrients in, and you'll be well on your way to having a good tree up here as well. So that's my number one tip. It's what's in the pot that is as important, if not more important, than what's going on up here. My second bit of advice would be to watch and observe what's going on with your tree. You'll soon realise what is normal and what is healthy, which are these lovely green leaves, and you'll very quickly start to pick up on, okay, something's not right there. And that is important. Keep looking at your tree. You will get problems along the way. You'll get pest problems, you'll get watering problems, you might go wrong with your fertiliser. But just working out what is normal, what isn't, that is really a key piece of advice I give with growing citrus trees. Right. Next piece of advice would be, do your research. So listen to people online. Look at websites, YouTube videos, whatever it is. There are so many different elements to growing citrus trees, as we've already discussed, through the roots, the leaves, the fruit element when you get to that, your soil. Lots of different elements, and there are lots of different people giving different advice. So a lot of that is about taking that advice on board, working out what works for you in your environment, and that really brings me on to my next tip, which is know your environment. Know where you are, know your own conditions. These are not hardy trees for the most part. So if you're like I'm here in the UK, zone 7, you'll be bringing your tree inside over winter, and then it'll go outside in the summer. And it's really about knowing the tree, knowing its light requirements, its temperature requirements, its watering requirements, and then adapting that to where you live. So for me, that's indoors in winter and then outdoors in summer, and there's an awful lot to learn about even just that part of the cycle, the ins and coming in and going outdoors again. It's not something you learn like that. You learn through experience and doing it. So yeah, know your environment, I'd say, is a great next tip. And my next tip would be patience. These trees take a lot of time to develop, And a lot of the time you want things to happen immediately. You want things to go from a tiny little shoot, you want leaves, you want a thick trunk. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's something that has actually taught me patience, a lot of patience, this hobby, because you're letting the tree do its thing in its own time. You're trying to optimize the conditions as much as you can, but you can't force a tree to go overnight. It doesn't happen. You've got to develop that patience, and then your tree will flourish. And as I said, this is 2.5 years old, so this is not something I started last week. This has been this ongoing process, and it's still, you look at that tree compared to a tree in your garden, other trees you might see in pots, and it's tiny, and it's starting to develop a nice trunk. It's starting to get some nice branches, but it's still got a long way to go. It's not a process that is anywhere near finished, and it's just ongoing, and this will hopefully continue going on for decades and decades. So yeah, that's my next tip. Patience is key, and I've made a lot of mistakes where I've wanted things to happen immediately, and it doesn't happen like that. Right. So there are a few tips on growing lemons, growing citrus in general from seed. I'd like to do a few more videos like this, going into more depth on things like soil, like the branch structure, like anything really. I've got other varieties of citrus that are sort of covering my garden, covering my house at various times of the year. So I can talk about the different varieties as well. But for today, there's a few hopefully useful tips on growing lemon trees from seed. Thanks for watching.